Alright, so I just made a key for this Honda. It works down there, works the door, works the glove box, but does not work in the ignition. So I'm going to pull this apart and show you guys how to do it. The first thing we're going to do is pull 3 screws out of here. 1, 2, and then 3. The next thing, you want to pull 1, 2, and then up in the back side, over in here is another hidden screw up in here. I'll show you the Phillips I used for that. This whole thing is actually loose on here. Alright, so I pulled those screws right here, 1 and 2, and then that sneaky one up here from the back side. You got to sneak. Let me zoom in on this for you guys. This one, right? Still can't get it right there. Out, pull the white plug,
I seen Jack the other day.
And the green plug.
You said you need a job, I told him to go work for you.
And this comes all apart. There's one more screw on the back. Alright, yeah, so when you pull this off, there is actually another screw under here that I had to pull out. Now this comes off, exposes your ignition, and your roll pin is going to be right in here. The roll pin goes in from the back side over here. I find if I use a little tiny regular, a really good regular, this is what is this? It is Matco. I find if I use a little tiny regular, I do have the kit to pull it out of there. I forgot the name of it now. I'll leave a link in the description. But what you can do with these, I'll show you this. On these aftermarket ignitions, there's enough room in here to get this regular screwdriver in. You go in at an angle, like so, pressure, and just rock it a little bit. And this ignition boom, comes right out of here. What you do want to do before you take this out is put a key in it. And this aftermarket ignition, oh, actually this is an OEM ignition. See, so what we did with that regular screwdriver was go right down in there and just push back on the roll pin that holds it in right along the side of it. And now can actually pull the code off this ignition, and we'll make a key for this. I'll be right back with you. So I have the ignition out of here, and if we look right here on the ignition, our last 4 numbers is M344. So let's cut that on a test key and make sure it works. So with the Gymkhana, we're going to choose vehicles, Honda, that is an Accord, and 3 to 12 is correct. Do codes, we're going to do M344, hit next, gonna put this key into about U0 in there, tighten this down. I think they got another repo coming in next to me now. Hit cut, I'm gonna let this do its thing. So I just cut this key. This key works good in here. I'm gonna cut this on a remote head and we're gonna program this in. And reassembly is gonna be pretty much the same way. We're going to see our pin stayed in there and the spring is still in there. Usually it comes out on the back of the lock, but being that this was changed, it's not really greased up well. I'm trying to do this one-handed, so you'll have to forgive me. Alright, so you can push that in there. And once we hold that in there, because it's spring loaded, And then we're just going to shove that pin back up in there. Hold on, let me get somebody to hold this camera. Okay, found a phone holder. It's called my buddy. Alright, so this pin right here, we're going to push in. So we're going to push in on the ignition and just shove that roll pin right back up in there. And that is going to hold our ignition in there. So that just shoved right in. Simple like that. And if you do have to take it out, you can sneak right in that little crevice right there and just rock a little really thin regular back and forth in there, and you can usually sneak that pin out, that roll pin. Or you can put your thumb on it, rattle the ignition around if it's original. Usually if they got a big ring of keys on it, that pin will fall right out on the floor while you're taking it apart. Alright, and put this back on. This just slips over here. This Phillips screw goes right into this top hole. Put these other screws down. Okay, that one goes in there. This is literally just going to slide over the top of that. One Phillips is going to go up in here, still in that original ring. And the second one, we're going to start in this ring. And we still have the one from the back side. Tighten that one down. That one down. And we have this one up here in the back side right there, but it's going to be at a kind of a funky angle. It's going to go right in there. And let me just get that started and I'll show you. Up in here you can see this funky screw goes in from the back side. Like so. Just zoom out. This white plug goes in there. This green plug goes in there. And this key, we're just going to program in here now. I'm going to pop this back together. This is just pretty simple stuff, the usual. Let me pop this back together. I mean, everybody should know how to put this clam on here, and I'll be right back. So I got this car all buttoned up. Everything is back together. Put our key in. Our security light is right there blinking. Out of this, and just to throw you guys for a loop, a boot plug. Bam, SKP-900. Here's something I never use. Alright, we're going to go to a mobilizer. We're going to scroll down to Honda. I'm going to go from system type, mobilizer 2. And by the way, our key is on. Mobilizer system. Ignition is on. Gotta wait 1 minute, I'll be right back with you. Okay, so after our minute wait, we're going to do all keys lost because this is a repo. Insert the key, turn the ignition on. It's already on. Yes. Number of keys, we're going to do 1. Yes. Turn off the key. Ignition on. Turn key off. Turn key on. Turn off the key. Turn the ignition on. Is the indicator light off? It is out. Okay, we're gonna hit yes. Turn off the key. Turn on the ignition. Success. Okay, let me just unplug and it runs. And this key actually programs with the remote programs with the key, I'm sorry. And I just figured I'd throw you for a loop with that.